Alright, howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Enlisted. Today we're going to briefly talk about Enlisted's roadmap for 2023, as well as what I think are some of the best changes to their matchmaker and progression system which they just announced, which should make the game hopefully a lot less grindy in the future. As always, when you check out the game I'm talking about or see more videos on the game, peep the description below. Now, for whoever is not in the know, Enlisted is a free-to-play World War II FPS published by the developers of War Thunder, Gaijin. In Enlisted, you spawn in as part of a larger squad with AI controlling your squad mates, though you can give them orders or also take control over them directly. Now, one of the main issues people seem to have with Enlisted is its progression system. The game is divided into multiple campaigns, and each campaign requires you to completely start from scratch with regards to unlocking equipment. Say you have fully unlocked everything for the German faction in the Stalingrad campaign. Now you have to re-unlock everything for the German faction in the Normandy, Moscow, Berlin, and Tunisia campaigns. There's not a 100% overlap between all of these campaigns when it comes to equipment, but having to unlock the MP40, MG34, or a Panzer IV variant for the third time just gets really old. Luckily, the devs are aware of this and are going to be switching away from the linear research system where you research left to right to a new system. This system seems to be somewhat similar to War Thunder's tech tree or research tree, where you will pick what equipment you want to unlock, even allowing you to skip certain branches you don't care for. For me, that would be the airplane section. This hopefully will make the game a little less grindy, as you just have to unlock equipment one time per faction to be usable in any of the campaigns. Now, according to the developers, this will also make it easier for them to add new things in. Whereas before, as far as I know, in the old linear system, new equipment was always added to the end of the progression tree. Now, in the new system, they can add equipment anywhere they want inside of the research tree. Another big change, which honestly is good to counter low population in some of the less popular campaigns, is to no longer have dedicated campaigns at all. Instead of selecting your campaign and then the faction you want to join the battle with in that campaign, now you'll just pick your faction, click battle, and you may end up in any campaign or theater this faction fights in. As an example, for the Japanese, this means that nothing changes, at least until they add more maps, as they'll just only be able to fight in the Pacific Theater against the Americans. But for the Germans, this is actually a huge change. Clicking battle as a German player in the new system will mean you can get thrown into a Stalingrad, Moscow, Normandy, Berlin, or Tunisia theater campaign now. With the developers planning to still release a bunch of new campaigns or theaters, there will obviously be specific launch events where you can try new items, units, and equipment, which will then later be added to the research tree of the related countries to be used in all campaigns. This kind of sounds a little sketchy, because it might be similar to what World of Warships does, which I'm personally just not a fan of, where they release a line of new ships in early access, allowing people who either just straight up pay for access or gamble their way into access to have these ships early, sometimes weeks or months in advance of the public having access to these for free. If these ships in World of Warships, or coming back to Enlisted, is Enlisted equipment is going to be overpowered, this could lead to a pay-to-win situation, which is obviously something we definitely don't want. One thing that will also suffer with this new system is the historical accuracy of equipment being used in certain locations. Whereas before, you wouldn't see STG-44s in Moscow or IS-2s in Stalingrad, you will in the new system. I'm usually all for historical accuracy. For example, I love Red Orchestra 2, but I just feel like this new system will greatly help the game in terms of being less grindy, and historical accuracy will sadly be the victim of that. A new matchmaker to keep seasoned veterans and new players somewhat separated will be introduced as well, with several stages of development being assigned to certain pieces of equipment. So say someone with a STG-44 unlocked is probably not going to face someone who has just started unlocking their first SMG for the Soviet faction. Now, initially, the matchmaker will try to match people with similar unlock levels together, though if it does end up taking too long, it'll throw you together with whoever wants to play. Now, Enlisted will leave the open beta testing phase and officially launch somewhere this year. However, luckily, any progress made by people playing the game thus far will not be wiped, and all the progress you've made will stay unlocked. I actually missed this initially, but the developers have also released a roadmap for 2023, but I still wanted to take a look at it at the end of this video. I am very interested in finding out what the new class with new mechanics will be, whether this is a new type of soldier or a whole new class altogether. We'll have to see. Enlisted is currently playable on current and last gen consoles as well as PC. However, this little part of the roadmap that's intentionally sort of hidden leads me to assume there'll be a new platform to play Enlisted on, though I can't think of which platform it could be unless we're talking about like the PS3 and Xbox 360. Some other new things like new aircraft weapons as well as new ground vehicles with new mechanics sound interesting, though hopefully not on the overpowered side of things. Something aircraft actually tend to be in Enlisted if a team is effectively spawning for the pilot. So 2023 might be the year Enlisted really grows up as a game with hopefully a little less grinding and an easier to understand research and upgrade system. Now, what do you think about all these changes? Are you going to get back into Enlisted because of this? Or, if you've never played before, are you finally going to give the game a try now? Let me know down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.